We will discuss this later, that because Krishna, do you think he's a simple God or a complex God? How many of you feel that he's a simple God? I mean, don't worry, he'll not be offended. I just want to establish this one thing. Okay, let's discuss this. And before, so I was there. I was just thinking, and I wrote this. Is that Krishna is a simple coward boy, yes, in a simple land of Vrindavan, playing the simple bamboo flute, wearing the simple garland made of forest flowers, adorned by a simple peacock feather, surrounded by simple coward friends, and his greatest devotees are simple milkmaids, the gopis, and he simply loves his devotees. Yes or no? Krishna is basically a very simple person. He likes to be simple. I mean, what is the greatest? I'll tell you one story which I heard from many years back. It was Krishna's birthday. It was Janmashtami. This was the time where Krishna was in Vrindavan. And there were so many people gave gifts to Krishna. So Krishna was sitting and all the elders came, and there was a system that all the elders would come and Krishna would take the gifts from the elders, and he would. But there was a unique thing happening that Krishna, while he was taking the gifts, he was looking at the door constantly. There was a door which was closed. He was looking at the door. He was in Nanda Bhavan, looking at the door, constantly looking at the door, constantly looking, as if he's waiting for somebody. So then he got all the gifts, and then suddenly from the door came running all his coward friends. Just open the door, and everybody just came running and said, "Oh, Krishna, it's your birthday!" And they didn't have any on reverence. They didn't have any. They just saying Krishna, they were patting Krishna. They were and Krishna was sitting, and each of them were giving unique gifts. Somebody gave a colored sand to Krishna. Somebody put some different sand. Somebody gave some peacock feather. Somebody gave this. Somebody gave different other peacocks. Somebody gave the bark of a tree, and somebody gave leaves as cups. Various simple things that he gave. And Krishna, as I heard from, this is a story I heard from His Holiness Shivaram Swami Maharaj. And Krishna he took all the gifts that he had received from elders, and he took it and he put it down, But Krishna was so much feeling indebted and love for his friends that whatever gifts he gave, Krishna kept it on his body. He would not keep it down. He was so precious to Krishna, these gifts. Everything was on his body, nothing came down. And after all the gifts were given, Krishna started crying. And he said that, "There's so much love that you have given me. How do I repay this love?" And he just started embracing each of his coward friends. And the only thing I can give you in return is this embrace of mine. Of course, Krishna's embrace is the greatest gift. What more you want? By the way, whenever if at all, or whenever in the posterity we at all go to the spiritual world, the first thing that we get is Krishna's embrace, as we see from Gopakumar, the beautiful description in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Krishna embraces Gopakumar and he cries tears. This first thing that Krishna. So Krishna embraced all his friends. And Krishna said, "This is all that I can give you in return. I don't have anything else to really match. And even this embrace is not a match for your love." That's how Krishna is such a simple God, and he loves simple things, wearing simple peacock feather, wearing simple garland, wearing a simple dhoti, loves to be in a simple land of Vrindavan. It is not that the Vrindavan is a place where there is multi roads. What is it called? Multi-tier roads and big dams and very sophisticated. None. It is the simplest of simple place. And Krishna doesn't take a step out of Vrindavan. Krishna's friends, the greatest Aradhya Bhagavan of Rajesh Tanaya Tad Dhama Vrindavan Ramya Kachitupasana Brajabadhu. The greatest devotees of Krishna are the Brajabadhus. And who are these? These are simple milkmaids of Vrindavan. So please, how can we not stress the fact of the need to be simple in our Krishna consciousness? It's very important. Because the person that we are trying to worship is a simple God. Even his philosophy is very simple. He says, "Yogakshama vaham yaham." That I'll carry what you have and supply what you lack. Simple. Can you imagine a God who is saying that, "Don't worry, just keep on doing what you want." Keep on doing not what you want, keep on doing that is required to be done, not what you want. And then I'll carry what you have, and what a assuring is how merciful and simplistic personality Krishna is. That don't worry, I'm not here to really make things difficult for you. I will carry what you have. And what does he have to carry? Nothing. We do hard work. I always give this example. You do all the hard work, you appear for the exam, and of all the hard work and all the sweat and perspiration for year of exams, you appear for 100-mark exam, and what you score? 1 mark. Usually in spiritual life is that. All the hard work can lead you 1 mark. Krishna has to, Krishna will supply you 99 marks to make it 100. Please understand, by your endeavor, you cannot achieve Krishna. At the most, your endeavor is just enough to attract Krishna's mercy. Is that not what we learned from the story of the sparrow? Yeah? So this is what Krishna is. His philosophy is simple. We make it complicated. He says, just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But we make it, how can it be so simple? थोड़ा management करना पड़ेगा यार. How can it be so simple? Just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Let us have some management principles. Let us do some psychology. Let us do all these different things. And we make it complicated. But it's actually simple. I'm saying I'm not against management. I'm not against psychology. But if those things are making our Krishna consciousness complicated, then it is a danger. You use it. As I said, use it as a trustee. For Krishna service is perfect. So we have some short time and we are going to discuss the various facets of simplicity. Please understand how important it is to focus on that. First is, simplicity means the time for what you love to do. First is, what does simplicity mean? That you focus on doing the things that you love to do. That is a simple mindset. A lot of, we cannot completely avoid doing things that are necessary to be done. As I spoke briefly about this in the beginning, that we have to do things which are necessary to be done, and we may not naturally love doing those things. We have to do it as a duty. But at the end of the day, we must engage ourselves into doing things that we love to do. And each one of us have unique, it is not one dress which fits all type of situation. We all have our uniqueness and what gives us pleasure. And under guidance and under proper supervision, if we are doing something which really brings us pleasure, which gives us satisfaction, which gives us the feeling of contentment, that is important. And that's simplicity. That's part of simple thinking, my dear friends. To do what you like to do. And not all the time do things that you are expected to do. You understand? Second, and for that, the next natural outcome is to know yourself. Right? If you want to do what you like to do, then you have to know yourself. And the second important thing of simplicity is self-awareness. You need to know what is it that you really love, and you need to know what is best for you in the long run. This is part of simple living and high thinking. What is the what, W-H-A-T, the what that you really like to do, and what is good for you in your long run, and what are the core values that you live by. I said that the famous we live over what's that Bhuliya Tomare Samsare Asiya, that beautiful bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that you live your whole life just living, and also the song of Vidyaraya Vilase, you're just acquiring data and knowledge, and then at the end of time you realize, what have I really achieved? What are the core principles that you want to live by is very important to think, and that's part of simple living. You cannot just live, that's complicated. You just live life the way it comes. That's not simple living. You need to focus on your core principles. Another very important aspect is filter information. A lot of data, protective and protective of what? Of what you listen, what you watch, what you read, what you discuss. This is simplicity. As I said, simplicity is not easy. It is difficult. Isn't it difficult to be this? To be conscious, to be selective, to be protective of what you read, what you hear, what you discuss. But this is what Krishna consciousness is all about. Too much data means complexity. For sure. But too much of Bhagavatam is not data. It is Krishna. Too much Krishna is very good. The fourth thing, a simple eating schedule is very, very important. Of course, sometimes you may have what you call, nowadays they call it the one day you can cheat. Aisa kuch hai na? Maybe when you go to a nutritionist or to a dietitian, he said, this is strict diet. But one day, little cheating allowed. So obviously, we have senses, we like pizzas, pastas, and it's nice, right? Yes or no? Yeah. But they're not good all the time. They're unhealthy stuff. But most important, simplicity doesn't mean only you. It means it has to come down to simple diet and schedule. It's so important. People have crazy schedules and they eat crazy things, and that's why they have crazy health. I mean, what they eat at 12 o'clock in the night, and what they eat of deep fried stuff with a cold drink. Can you imagine what's happening to your body? A fried thing with a cold drink, and this is what is given to you. With that fried drink, the cold drink is given free. You are ruining your health. Finished. So it is important. We talk about this, and it says, what are you talking about eating, my dear friend? It is important. That's part of simple living. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. We talk about multitasking. We have to be multitasker. So what happens when you're a multitasker? I was just analyzing. For a multitasker, that means for a hammer, everything looks like a nail, yes? For a multitasker, everything looks like a task. That means everything that you're doing, 16 rounds is a task. Tick mark. Reading Bhagavatam, tick mark. Talking to a devotee, tick mark. Spending time with your children, tick mark. Giving time to your wife, tick mark. Speaking to your friends, tick mark. It's a task. It is not a task. It is relationships. So please savor life. Multitasking ruins it. In my analysis, I hope I am wrong, but I don't think the only person who can be actually a multitasker is only one, Krishna. Because he has the capacity, because he's God, is omnipresent, omnipotent. He can do multitasking. None of us, we may need to do some multitasking, but be conscious. Don't just make everything a task. As I said, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail.